Our top 5
family Christmas games.
2019.
Let's do it!
Yeah!
All right, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Rod.
I'm Bradley.
And today we're talking about Christmas games that you can play with your family.
Merry Christmas.
Greatest time of the year. Greatest time of the year.
Best time. Best time. I played the most games at Christmas time.
Sure.
Yep.
This is when I can buy the most games too. So I buy it for my kids and they're for me.
So what we wanted to do, these are not Christmas themed games,
Right.
but these are games that you can buy and play at Christmas with your family. And some of these are party games, some of these are family games. It's just, we didn't really know what to call it, so it's family Christmas games. All right?
Top five, of course.
All right, so let's dive into this and we'll get going.
Okay.
Number 5. So we're going to go down 5
Down
to
in
number
order.
1.
For me, number 5 would be Hero Realms. I'm a big
Oh, yeah,
card
yeah.
guy. You can get a ton of people in on this game. It's easy to teach.
Yeah.
Easy to learn, and it's one of those games that it's never the same game every time because it's all random. So if you don't know what Hero Realms is, you should look into it. It's easily a really favorite game of mine.
It's a small deck builder,
Yeah,
right?
It's a deck builder.
But you don't have to, like, some of these games with deck builders, you got to, like, craft your deck and do all that kind of stuff, but you don't do that.
You don't do that. All that comes in the box is the deck that you set out in the middle. You have coins that you start out with. You buy what's in the middle, and everyone has that opportunity to buy whatever is in the middle. You buy one, the next guy buys one, the next guy buys one, and it just ramps up from there. And you can even kind of gauge how much health you start out with at the beginning of the game if you want to play a longer or shorter game.
I didn't know that. I forgot.
And it's been out long enough. There's tons of expansions. They even finished a Kickstarter here a few months ago, so they're always coming out with new stuff for Hero Realms.
That was on my short list. I had that down there, Hero Realms, but it didn't make it to the 5.
Yeah. Or Star Realms. If you're not a fantasy style, they have space themed, and Star Realms. I really like it as well. So
There you go.
pretty much same game, different skin.
Okay, number 5 for me is Chronicles of Crime. Now, I was just at Barnes & Noble today, and I happened to see that they have this on the shelf. And so if you don't have a local game store or you don't want to buy it online, run down to a Barnes & Noble and you can pick this off the shelf. This is a detective game where you get to use your phone. I don't know if that's good or bad for you, but it's great, especially for the younger ones. Sit them around, and then you get to use your phone to scan cards that help you deduce and figure out the crime. And then at the end of it, it's like a typical detective game. You have to try to answer the questions, and it's all done through the app. It is very intuitive. There's almost no figuring it. I mean, it's very easy to do, and it's incredibly immersive. It is my absolute favorite detective game. And the reason I say it would be great for Christmas is because you could get a whole bunch of people sitting around the table, however many you want to play. I probably wouldn't play with more than 6, you know, because it could get a little crazy. But with 6 people, you could sit around the table and try to figure this crime out together. And it's got this VR thing, you know, where you could like look around the room on your phone if you want to do that. And so it's just a really, really neat game, very innovative, and would be a lot of fun at Christmas time.
Very cool. All right, my number 5 is Ultimate Werewolf.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, that is just a classic
Social deduction.
game. Yeah, classic game. Multiple player, more people, the more fun. Uses the phone or the whatever application you want to use to play through. I think it's just an entertaining game. Gets everybody involved. It's a blast.
It is.
It's a blast.
It is a lot of fun. And you're talking the Ultimate Werewolf one is fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like one of those social games that takes like an hour to play. This is like play around and you're like, hey, man, that was awesome. Let's do it again.
Yep. That's a good game to play towards the end of the night or the beginning of the night whenever we're doing our gaming days too.
Yep.
So.
Great idea. Yeah.
So number 4 for me is Herbaceous.
Oh, yeah,
a
great
pencil
game.
first game. We burned ourselves out on it. My family did because we played it so much a few years ago, and just recently we pulled it back out, and that is such a good. It's such a good little game. Again, it's easy to teach. It goes by really quick if you know how to play. And you just want to play over and over and over again. It's 2 to 4, actually 1 to 4 players, and that would be the downside to it. Is it's not a party game. It's a family game, but we play with my grandma.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for all ages. It's got great artwork, and basically you have a deck. It's another card game. You have a deck. You draw a plant. You either put it in your garden or the community garden, and you only get to plant in one pot for the whole game. And so it takes all your decisions and just really concentrates them. And it's a really fun game. Herbaceous.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's a fun mechanism of you draw a card, like what you said, and now you have to decide, do I keep it and hope for something better, or you take it now and then you draw the next one, you're like, man, I should have waited, you know? There's just something a lot of fun about that mechanism.
And you only have 4 pots, so you only get really 4 actions. The whole game, each person only gets 4 actions.
Yeah.
And so that's, I don't know, it's really cool.
I totally agree. My number 4 is, this is actually a series of games, so maybe this is cheating, but it's the exit games.
Oh,
and so this is kind of the, what's the escape room in a box? It's not really, but that's the basic idea is you get one box and then everything that you need is in that box. Now, the downside to all of these games, exit games specifically, is that they're one-time use.
Right.
But the reason I put it down for Christmas time is that would make for a fun experience. You know, that this is hey, we haven't done this one before. Everybody sits down and then you open up the box and you go through it. You're passing the little manual around. You're holding on to all the little pieces and you're trying to figure out all these puzzles. So again, kind of like Chronicles of Crime, it's a group game where we're all trying to figure out how this thing works. And I found that these exit games, if you play them as 2 people, you might get stuck.
Yeah.
But if you play with 3, 4, 5 people, then there's a lot more brains that are thinking about stuff. And they say, hey, wait, what if we do this? And then someone's like, no way, that couldn't be it. And whoa, that is it. You know, and so all these games, they range from really easy to figure out to really complicated. So you could kind of pick where you think your group might be. You open up the box, you play it, and now you've got like a Christmas memory where you're like, man, I remember when we played that exit game about the cabin in the woods, you know? And anyways, it would just be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And they're super reasonable, right?
Yeah,
like
they are
20
cheap.
bucks
Yeah.
a box or something like that. Yeah, totally.
Yep, there you go.
All right, so my number 4 is Downforce.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Downforce is a nice little racing game that anyone can play, that very easy to learn, but there's a lot of things that you can kind of do with it. A lot of strategy can be involved with the game. When you first see it, you don't think there's much strategy until you actually sit down and play it.
Then
it just changes everything. And when the original game, you get 2 tracks, so it gives you a little bit of a variation. And the more people in a game like that, the more fun it is. So that's the time to play that game.
I totally agree. Yeah, and it's fast paced.
Yeah.
You know, and it's that's just a great game. Restoration game, so they brought that back and revamped it.
Yeah.
It was a good one to do.
I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, you can get through the game.
Yeah. And then you figure it out. And then let's play it.
Exactly.
I need to check that one out. I've never played that.
Yeah, we should play it.
So, number 3 for me is hardly a board game at all.
Oh,
but I really like it. They've come out with Choose Your Own Adventure games.
Oh, yeah.
And there is a board, but there's really no turns necessarily. You just kind of like the exit games. You come together and you just go on this adventure. That I know of, there's only 2, House of Danger and one set in space, a cosmic variation. And the House of Danger is actually really good. The second one I did not care for at all, but go for the first one.
House of Danger.
House of Danger. It's really good. It's broken up in chapters, and so you can stop whenever you want to. And again, there's no set amount of players because everyone can come in and discuss, and it's funny, it's silly, it's nothing that you have to, tell the kids to go to another room for. Like it's good, clean, simple fun.
Yeah, I saw that today, and I wondered how that was.
I really like that first one. The second one, I don't know, they went off track, but the first one is really
That's the good one.
Yeah, that's the good one. Yeah,
awesome. Well, good. My number 3 is called Just One. Now, this is a party game, party game. So this is not serious game at all. This is a word game, and the reason that this one is fun is you sit around the table and somebody has a card with a whole bunch of words on it. You pick one of the words. The person doesn't see it, the judge, and then everybody else writes down. They have these little dry erase boards. They write down one word that they're going to use as a clue to get you to guess the word that's on the card. Sorry if this is not making sense. But then while the person that I'm the judge, I got my eyes closed, everybody reveals their words. And if any of the words match, they go away. So if you both put down chicken, then chicken goes away. So that great clue is now gone. And so then I open my eyes and I might have 2 or 3 clues that I have to use to figure out the one that's on there. Oh. And so it's a really simple concept, but it's a lot of fun. And you start learning tricks the more that you play it on how you can lead somebody to the word that you want. And it's a great game. I think this won some awards this year. At first the box seems very unassuming. It's just very plain, does not look like it would be that amazing, but it's just a simple, great game, and it's called Just One.
Just One.
Awesome. All right. So number 3, right?
Yeah, number 3.
Codenames.
Yeah, there you go.
Classic game.
Solid.
It's classic.
Classic.
And it is, the key word I guess there is solid.
Solid.
I really have not met anyone that doesn't enjoy the game. Now, they don't like being put in as being the person who's having to choose the word.
Yeah,
but
that's tough.
That can be tough.
Yeah.
But all in all, the game is fairly simple, but can be but it is hard to play.
Yeah.
It is a blast, and everyone has gotten into it that I've played with, so I enjoy that one.
Mm-hmm. And that's another one that has a lot of different, like Marvel,
Yeah.
Duet.
They have a Simpsons version.
Simpsons version.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great one.
So number 2.
We're getting close.
Number 2.
Number 2.
This one is 2 to 4 player. Jimmy and I played it at Gen Con a few years ago. It's called Harvest Dice.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't played it actually in a while, but there's almost no rules to it at all. It was real simple.
Roll the dice.
And if you roll the dice, that determines where you can plant your different crops. And like cartographers, you have to draw what it is that you're planting. And the what you roll is determined where you can plant it. And kids can play it, adults can play it. It's for anybody. And again, it's really easy if you're sitting down at Thanksgiving or Christmas and you're just trying to get some people into playing this game. This one's really easy to sit down and teach, and you can jump right into it.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's a fun one. And it didn't get much press after it came out. It kind of came out and then kind of disappeared. But that would be a great one. I bet you could find it cheaper now.
I bet so.
And maybe pick it up and try it out.
Yep. Played at the kids' table, played at the adults' table, wherever, all over.
You're such a family guy. Okay, for me, my number 2 is a game called Drop It. And this is I actually don't know how many people can play this game, so I think it might be up to 4. But this is a game. It's got this clear cylinder with and then everybody has these their own shapes, and there's circles and rectangulars and those triangles you learned about in high school. And so, but on your turn, you're going to drop it into this little clear thing and then drop it. And so you drop it in and it goes down and you're trying to score points in different ways. But you can't let certain things touch. And so, especially when you get into certain zones and different things, and without getting too much into it, there's just so much fun about taking that thing and then lining it up like you think it is, and then you drop it in there and it doesn't do anything like what you thought it would. And then there's all these moments where you drop it in and it perfectly gets stuck in some way and the table cheers, and you're like, yeah.
That's awesome.
And so I played this with kids, I played this with adults, and everybody, it doesn't matter who, they are totally into just the experience of dropping those things in. And so it's a lot of fun.
And it's also a game in which when 2 people are playing, there are people watching, you can get into it as much.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes there's games where someone could care less what's going on with the table, but that game, everybody gets excited about it. That's a good choice.
Thanks.
So number 2 for me is Captain Sonar.
Oh,
one of our group's favorite games.
Yes,
That is great memories.
Great memories.
For sure.
So, what a great game, because you have 4 people on one side doing individual stuff and 4 people on the other side doing individual stuff, and you're against each other, those 4-on-4 or 3-on-3 or whatever you guys end up setting up, and it's on a nice big table.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful game, and it can be pretty competitive, and it is a blast. I think it's a favorite of ours.
Yeah. It's Battleship on steroids.
It's Battleship on steroids. It's like Battleship for adults.
Yes.
Is really. I'm glad you got that one. I really like that game. I really like that game.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And they have different versions now. They have a 4-player, so there's an 8-player version, which is Captain
that's the
Sonar.
one we did. Yeah, 4-on-4, right? Yeah.
And then, 2 teams. But now they've got another one. I even saw a brand new version at Barnes & Noble today that's some kind of sonar, family sonar or something like that. But it's just a 4-player version. And so they've combined some of the roles so that 2 people can go at it. So just depending on how many people you want to play the game depends on which version you probably want to get.
awesome.
So it's really good.
Yeah. If you haven't seen anything on that game, it's just like one person is barking orders at another person, and then you have the opposite side trying to whisper so that the other side doesn't hear what you're up to. And anyway, it's great. I really like that game.
It's a fun one.
So my number one pick has already been named at the table, but I want to add some more to it.
Okay.
Chronicles of Crime. For me, I really, that game is so good.
It's so good.
And the only thing I'll add is there's some like adult themes in that game. Like it's pretty serious about some of the things that are happening in that game, and that's good because like my family, there's not a lot of smaller kids, younger kids. And so even though some of my list are for younger kids, this one is one that I would want to bring to an adult, night so that they can get into it. There's a little more skin in the game. You feel a little more invested,
Skin in the game.
Okay, so maybe I should. Anyway, there's a Chronicles of Crime Noir that I really like better than the base game. And so the only thing I wanted to add was Chronicles of Crime Noir. Instead of, if you're going to go for the base game, I would say go for the Noir. And I tried the glasses and I've tried without the glasses, and honestly I prefer not using the little clip. They're really cool to look at, but I don't know. I just like looking at the.
You don't like doing there?
Yeah, to do this whole situation. I wasn't as much into that. So maybe instead of Chronicles of Crime, I'm gonna say of Noir.
Right.
Yeah.
And the adult theme is on the level of maybe like a CSI episode or something. We're not talking like. Well, I don't know. I don't want to give it all away or anything, but but it's not like rated R stuff, so don't worry about that.
Like, yes, it's what you might see on TV, but it would be like a CSI level and not like a daytime. Anyway, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We've explained it. There's no more to say. There's no more to say. So,
all right. Okay, my number one game that I would recommend you pick up, and there are so many other games I would love to put on this list too, but my number one game that I would recommend you get for a family Christmas atmosphere is called Camel Up. And this is a racing game about camels, and it's betting, and there's something so fun about this. Now, I would recommend getting the newer version. There's a new version by, I forget their name now, Eagerspiel or Plan B, I can't remember. It's one of their companies, and so they got it. But the new version has this cool fold out with this pop-up palm tree and a plastic pyramid that you shake the dice out with, and it's just, I'm telling you, you need to play this game, especially with your family, because it doesn't matter if they're new to games or not, they will love the experience of playing Camel Up. I just cannot recommend enough. It is a fun family game.
Really, even age-wise, it doesn't really matter either.
No,
Some of the adults, the children, they all love it.
My 8-year-old loves it, and all
That's
that.
awesome. That's very, very good. Downforce is the reason I almost picked Camel Up. I actually had it written down here, but I went to Downforce because I wasn't sure if Camel Up was the right name for it.
I couldn't remember the name.
I know I love Downforce. I like Downforce.
That's the one.
So that's a good one. But I have come up with the number one game, which overcomes everyone else's game.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
We're wrong. He's right. Let's hear it.
Here we go. Exactly. Clask 4. How many of you two could have forgotten it? I mean,
that was on my list
too. The party game. Yeah. And the great thing about that game is just like we said the other ones. You put that one on the table, 4 people are playing, but there's 8 people surrounding them. They're just as excited as the players.
Yeah.
It is an awesome game. Clask is a must-buy for Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's a great one that you could play with the family, do like a tournament. You could
Yeah,
do the
right.
2019 class tournament,
Yeah.
Christmas tournament. But then once you're done with the tournament, the kids could play it all day long.
That's right.
And they don't need supervision. They don't
No.
need somebody to tell them what to do. They just go play the game, and you could go do something else. So do both sides of that.
Class 4 and even Class 2. Like Class 4 right now. It's
Class
awesome.
fours. It's hot.
It's hot. It's happening.
Go out and get it.
All right. So those are our top 5 family Christmas games. We want to know what you think in the comments. Are we right? Are we wrong? Whose list do you identify with the
see.
most? Put that in the comments.
see.
And we definitely want to hear suggestions. Write those down below too. That way anybody else watching could Google some of your suggestions as well.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Oh.